Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to our channel. My name's Tommy. That's Samantha. Spoke for her.
Okay. Classic.
And today we are going to talk about how we met and how it was God's perfect timing, and
Just how we knew right away that this was it.
that's right. You're not going to want to miss this.
So basically, I'll start. So I was in like a really pivotal time in my life. I just come out of just like being in a really low place, and I just decided like, okay, God, like I'm gonna stop messing around and I'm gonna do what you want me to do instead of doing what I want to do. So right around that time, my dad came to me and said like, hey, we were gonna take the high schoolers to France for a missions trip, but with all the bombings happening, we decided to stay here, and we're gonna do a mission trip on Skid Row, and we need a girl chaperone. So if you want to come, let me know. And I just said like yes, without even thinking about it. And then later, I was like, oh shoot, what did I do? I was like, what excuses can I think of to like get out of this? Because I'm a super like major introvert. If you didn't know that. So, I didn't get out of it, obviously, so I ended up going on the trip, and it ended up being at Tommy's family's homeless mission.
What'd you know?
I didn't know Tommy at the time.
Nope.
And we were there for a week, and do you want to say where you were?
So I was in a really good place in my life, and I was working at the mission in Los Angeles, and then I was helping my grandmother as well at the same time, and then that's where Samantha met me.
So we were there for a week, and I think it was like a couple days in, Tommy came I think he came with your grandma, I don't know.
Yeah.
And he was taking us on like a tour of Skid Row, and so there was probably like 20 of us, or I don't know, something like that. So I was in the very back with like all the boys, and his cousin was actually on the trip. So Tommy was like taking us through like Skid Row, all the homeless people. He's like joking with them, just like being ridiculous. And his cousin was like, "Oh, Sam, like Tommy's single. Like you should date my cousin. That'd be funny." Like, and I was like, "Okay, no, Bryce. I'm like not gonna date anybody right now. Like no." Until like for the next few days, all of those boys, you know, high school boys, they were just like pestering me, like, "Sam, you should talk to Tommy. Like, did you talk to him yet?" Just like being ridiculous. And I didn't actually talk to him at all until the very last day.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was Tommy came with his grandma. She was speaking in chapel, and I ended up being late for chapel because I was upstairs cleaning the rooms because we were getting ready to leave. And so I ended up being late, and the chapel was completely full. So I was hanging out in the front desk area, and his Nana ended up like sitting in there. So he was in there with her, and then me and like the girl that was helping me. And we just started talking. I don't even know why or how or like what about. We were just talking about like, I think you showed me like your surf photography.
Just random stuff,
he's just a big talker, so he just will talk to anybody.
Yeah, I could like talk to you guys for like 50 minutes. I have to refrain myself. It's so difficult.
So, and we just sort of like had fun talking about whatever. Like it's just sort of like hit it off, and I was like, okay, he's like nice, whatever. And so after that, chapel ended, and we were leaving my group, and so I saw Tommy like go outside to do something. So I like took one of my bags to like my car to like give him a chance to like talk to me again.
She was making moves on me, guys.
I was giving you a chance. I didn't make any moves. So. And then I ended up getting locked out because the mission locks like if the door is shut. So I had to like wait there for him. So he comes up and he's like, "What did you do?"
I just like shook her hand. I'm like, "Hi, my name's Tommy Jordan. Nice to meet you."
I was like, "Oh, hi, I'm Samantha."
I know, it's very like old person-ish, you know, not like, "Hey, what's up?" Like, "Oh, by the way, I'm Tommy." Like I like go and like shake her hand.
I probably thought you were like 40 or something.
Yeah, well, you know, at that time I was taking care of my grandmother. I was helping her, so I actually was driving her back and forth to the mission every day from her house, you know. So I just sort of turned into an old person while I was with her.
So then we just ended up leaving. I ended up leaving. We didn't talk again. Like, I didn't give her number, nothing.
Yeah.
And I just thought like, oh, well, that was cool. I guess like I'll never see him again.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the way home, we stopped at a gas station, and his cousin comes up, and he's like, "Did Tommy get your number? Like what happened?" Because they saw us talking, and they were all like making faces and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you didn't. And he was like, oh, I gotta give him your number. And I was like, okay, like, and Tommy was like, no, like, you have to ask her first. Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And so he came, like, asked me if he could give it to him, and I said, yeah. And then I think you texted me, like, right away while I was driving.
Yeah. Well, and it was like my place of work. Like I work there, right? So groups came all the time to Skid Row. Skid Row, by the way, is like a huge area of homelessness, like in downtown Los Angeles, just in case you didn't know. So like groups came every week to come volunteer from churches and just, kids, adults. And so, I mean, if I'm just out there getting numbers, and I'd be getting numbers every week. Literally, I didn't, like when I met her, I didn't want a girlfriend. I really didn't. Like I thought she was beautiful. I thought she was amazing. But like we were in a place we just like wanted to be friends.
Oh, I forgot to say that. Yeah, when we were at the mission,
Yeah.
like, I did have like Tommy in my head because the boys were like,
Yeah, because
But-
you were staying there every night.
Yeah, we were there every night. So like,
Yeah.
when I remember on the roof, like during our devos one night, like I was just praying, like, okay, God, like get him out of my head. Like I want to focus on you. Like get him out of here.
Yes. The whole point of that trip was for her to like focus on God.
Yes.
So then she goes to Skid Row and she ends up meeting a boy. And
Yeah.
she's like, wait, this is like,
What is all?
I'm like going back 10 steps. Like, she felt like, oh, this isn't a good thing. Like, Bryce gives me her number. And I actually like, there was just something about her. Like, it was weird because I wasn't like just thinking about her looks or anything like that. Like, it was funny because finally I was in a point in my life where I was like, God, you come first. I want to do it your way because I've messed up so many times where like I'm tired of like breaking my heart and just it being a mess every time. So I asked my grandma. I was riding with my Nana and Bryce gave me the number and I was like, Nana, like she's like 80s. She's followed like God all her life. Just really like an amazing woman. And what did I say? I was like, Nana, like something about
You said,
Samantha.
Is that the kind of girl I
Is
should
that
marry?
the kind of girl I should marry? And I just met her. And she's like, well, what kind of girl would that be? And like, I was like, well, like I knew she loved Jesus and that she was like modest, like down to earth, And what did my Nana say? She said something like, that sounds like the kind of girl to me, or something like that. So she got Nana's stamp of approval. So I just went into it just like, I'm not like, no agenda. Like, let's just be friends and like sort of just see what happens. Because I was living in LA and she was living in the desert a few hours away from me.
Going to school in San Diego.
And going to school in San Diego. So we were hours apart. So we were like, how is this even going to work? So I just texted her. What did I text you?
Yeah, so we texted and stuff and we are like, yeah, we're just gonna be friends, like that's cool, whatever. And then we got on a phone call like a night later.
Yeah,
We
one
talked-
night later.
We talked for like 8 hours.
8 hours.
Oh, I missed it. I was gonna tell them on my way to Havasu, because I went to Havasu right after I left. And on my way to Havasu, my mom like heard that like I met Tommy and stuff, and she heard. And it's funny because my family just sort of knew like right away that like this was sort of it. And like you could just tell by the way they like talked. Like my grandma literally said, "Oh, you better start shopping for Mother of the Bride dresses," like, when she heard. So my mom said like, "Oh, like what do you even like know about this guy?" And I was like, "I don't really know. Like he loves Jesus. Like he's Christian.
Yeah.
He's following God. That's
Yeah.
all I really knew
Yeah,
about him.
that
I
was
didn't know
it.
anything."
Yeah.
So we hopped on the call and like
Yeah.
really like we talked for like 8 hours, but like it was just like first of all getting to know each other, and then second of all like everything just like lined up perfectly because everything that we believed was the same. Like we were both following God. We were both like at the same point in our walk with Jesus too, so it really like worked. Like one of us wasn't like
Yeah.
living all good and the other
Yeah,
was like we were
yeah,
both just sort of
yeah.
like ready to like follow God together.
Yeah.
So that like really worked. And I think that first phone call we both just like knew. Like it started like, oh, like if we date or if we do this, like we're just gonna be friends.
Yeah.
And like by the end of that phone call it was like, well, when we date or when like
Yeah, I changed like from if to like when, like.
And even for the next, so what we said, oh, we're just gonna be friends, and that lasted like a few days.
A few days. Did it?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. That's a very long time.
2 weeks of being friends.
Yeah, that was a long friendship.
And then Tommy drove down to the desert.
Yep.
Took me to Ralph's.
Ralph's parking lot. Yep.
And asked me to be his girlfriend.
Right there, Ralph's, guys.
And he told me he loved me that night too.
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah.
A typical girl, she remembers like everything, you know. But yeah, I mean, really the moral of it, the story, is like, I don't even know if that's the way to put it, but like, the thing was, like, I was putting God first in my life, and she was putting God first, and it was almost like God was the third person connecting us together. Like, we weren't, like, pursuing, we weren't, like, swiping left or right, like, we weren't trying to, like, make things happen on our own.
I think we knew that like God brought us together like at that time, at that moment.
Yeah.
So it was like we were even more like, okay, like God did this for a reason, so let's not screw it up.
Totally.
So like that's how we approach like our dating life,
Yep.
which will be another video. Like,
Yeah,
so,
we'll have to get into that, too.
But that was why we like approached it. So like, okay, we're gonna put God first, and then
Yeah. Well, if you want more videos like this, you're going to have to go right there and hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch it. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you soon. Jordan fam?
Jordan Bam out.
Jordan fam out.